3000万ベリーの賞金首だ。
さあ、それはどうか。
Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. Finally, the meeting between Luffy and Dragon is about to happen. However, Dragon is not looking for his son. In fact, he is seeking Nika, the sun god, which will inevitably lead him to Luffy, as the two share a great mission to fulfill together. And I'll reveal all of this to you in today's video. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, Dragon may know about the sun god, and this changes everything about his story and Luffy's, especially considering the secrets that the world of One Piece still holds. Perhaps the connection between Dragon and the sun god is rooted in something much deeper than it seems at first glance. Who knows? Maybe he uncovered this information through ancient documents or even a legendary library like the one in Elbaf, and this discovery shaped his worldview and his actions against the world government. To start exploring this, we can look at the chapters that have already hinted at the existence of secret archives, characters with access to forbidden knowledge, and the symbolic importance of the sun god. Elbaf, the land of giants, is described as a place where traditions and stories are kept alive through time. I believe a library like the Owl Library mentioned in the current arc could be a crucial point for Dragon. The idea that the ancient documents containing information about the sun god symbol, or even about the ancient civilization that revered this figure, might be hidden in such a place makes a lot of sense. Lilith mentioned that the Owl Biblo has the power to enlarge books, which means these ancient documents could be accessed in an expanded and clearer format. Perhaps Dragon passed through Elbaf at some point in his past and used this library to access records connecting the sun god to the world's history. Chapter 1066 brought many things to light about the poneglyphs and how information is passed through the ages. Believing that Dragon might have access to something similar doesn't seem too far-fetched. I think he could have been in contact with archaeologists or scholars who possess clandestine knowledge about the world's history. It's possible that he gathered these pieces throughout his travels and organizational efforts. There's also the matter of Vegapunk, who in recent chapters has demonstrated a vast understanding of the ancient world. If Dragon and Vegapunk have a connection, as hinted in chapter 1074, perhaps Vegapunk has shared some of this information with him. Another key point is the connection between the sun god and slavery, which was discussed. I think he could have been in contact with archaeologists or scholars who possess clandestine knowledge about the world's history. It's possible that he gathered these pieces throughout his travels and organizational efforts. There's also the matter of Vegapunk, who in recent chapters has demonstrated a vast understanding of the ancient world. If Dragon and Vegapunk have a connection, as hinted in chapter 1074, perhaps Vegapunk has shared some of this information with him. Another key point is the connection between the sun god and slavery, which was discussed in chapters like 287 and 288, where we saw the Shandian story and their fight for freedom. I think Dragon, as the leader of the revolutionaries, might have seen the sun god as a symbol of resistance and freedom. Who knows? During his travels, he may have encountered cultures that still revere the sun god and learned from them. These cultures could have passed down their traditions orally, or even recorded them in documents Dragon managed to acquire. The chapters that explored Fisher Tiger and the Fishmen are also relevant here. The story of the sun and freedom is central to that arc. Perhaps Dragon learned about these things through Jinbei, or during his missions to free slaves. He may have found an artifact or text that led him to understand more about the meaning of the sun god, not just as a mythical figure, but as an idea that has inspired resistance throughout the centuries. I think another point to consider is how Dragon might have been influenced by his father, Garp. Although Garp seems more practical and focused on his duties as a vice admiral, it's not impossible that he exposed Dragon to stories or fragments of information that later connected with the concept of the sun god. Who knows? Maybe Dragon grew up hearing about legends or events that, when combined with his own investigation, led him to this understanding. Elbaf wouldn't be the only place where Dragon could have found these clues. Islands like Ohara, mentioned in chapter 395, show that there were other places where ancient knowledge was stored. I think Dragon might have had contact with O'Hara survivors or documents that escaped the destruction. If he has some connection to Robin, as suggested by the revolutionaries' concern for rescuing her, perhaps she also shared information about the sun god with him. Another point is how the sun god could be connected to the Void Century. In chapters 967 and 968, we see Roger and his crew discovering clues about the world's past. I think Dragon might have followed a similar path, seeking to understand what happened during that period and how the sun god fits into into the narrative. Perhaps he found evidence that the sun god wasn't just a symbolic figure, but also an important part of the resistance against the ancient regime. Now, if Dragon truly discovers that Luffy represents the sun god Nika, it could mark a significant moment in his journey and how he approaches his mission against the world government. The revelation that his own son carries the spirit of an ancestral legend would certainly resonate deeply with Dragon, both as a father and as the leader of the revolution. Perhaps this discovery will drive him to make an even riskier decision, to seek a meeting with Luffy, even if it means deviating from his main agenda and exposing himself to greater dangers. Considering Dragon's current position in the conflict against the Celestial Dragons, he might find himself in a situation where his strategy needs to change. Chapters like 1054 and 1055 have already shown the impact that figures like Shanks have had in protecting certain truths about the world. This makes me think Dragon might be at a point where the information he has gathered about the sun god Nika, combined with his fight against the Celestial Dragons, leads him to realize that his battle is just part of something much bigger. Maybe he will start to understand that Luffy is a key piece in achieving this future. If Dragon is attacking supplies in Mary Joas, as suggested by his more active stance in recent chapters, he might find an opportunity to strategically withdraw and reassess his priorities. It wouldn't be surprising if during these incursions he comes across new documents or witnesses that confirm Luffy's true nature as the bearer of Nika's spirit. This would encourage him to temporarily leave the front lines and seek a moment of reunion with his son, whether in Elbaf or another location where the story takes them. Perhaps Dragon also realizes that Nika's legacy is not just about power, but about meaning. If he has read or heard about the sun god's deeds in a distant past, he could understand that Luffy now represents the hope for a freer and more just world. This realization, combined with the knowledge he might have gained from the great library of Elbaf or other sources, would encourage him to seek a deeper understanding of what Luffy represents, not only to him as a father, but to the revolution itself. I think a meeting between Dragon and Luffy would need to take place in a location of great significance for both. If Elbaf is indeed the next destination for the Straw Hats, Dragon could use this as an opportunity to reunite with his son, but also to meet the allies Luffy has gathered. The presence of the giants, who have a strong sense of tradition and history, could offer Dragon a safe and respectful environment to discuss Luffy's true nature and the role he is destined to play in the future. Perhaps Dragon sees this meeting as a chance to strengthen his own convictions. So far, he has led the revolution relying on his strength and the alliances he has built, but he might come to realize that the fight against the world government cannot be won with strategy and courage alone. By meeting Luffy and understanding what it means to be the sun god Nika, Dragon could find a new source of hope and purpose for his cause. This in turn might lead him to a shift in approach, integrating his revolutionary vision with the freedom that Luffy embodies. I also think there's a possibility that Dragon might use this meeting to share crucial information with Luffy. He could reveal details about the world's history that only he knows, perhaps related to the true history or the Pluton weapon, given the impact such discoveries could have on the fight against the world government. Dragon might not be a fighter with superhuman powers like Luffy, but his intelligence and experience in the battle for freedom would be a valuable addition to the Straw Hats' journey. If Dragon truly decides to seek out Luffy, I think it would be a moment filled with emotions and reflections. Both characters have strong personalities and different worldviews, but the bond between father and son transcends those differences. Perhaps Dragon sees in Luffy not only the hope for a better future, but also the realization of everything he has always fought to achieve. And who knows, this meeting might also be an opportunity for Dragon to acknowledge the role he should play as a father, something he may have neglected in the name of his mission. In this way, I think this potential reunion between Dragon and Luffy could mark the beginning of a new phase in the story of One Piece. With the revelation of Luffy as the sun god Nika and the convergence of so many characters and events toward a larger climax, Dragon's role in the narrative could become even more significant. He may not just be the leader of the revolution, but also a crucial ally in the final battle against the world government, bringing his wisdom and experience to support Luffy and the Straw Hats in their quest for freedom. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.